What's up?
That's my baddie pose.
What's up? We're sitting on the balcony. Me, Harris, and the air conditioner.
I'm practicing my baddie pose.
We're here drinking Flatlander, cider. We've had 2, and that's just enough.
That's enough. Bless thee.
Oh, holy smokes! What if this was like broadcasting on like Times Square right now?
To all the people watching this in the future in Times Square, hello, howdy.
Madison Square Garden.
Dun 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 bum bum. Where's Scooter going?
I gotta tell you something I don't care.
Okay.
Will you marry me? No, just kidding.
Oh,
Just kidding.
totally pranked.
No. Okay, so I had a realization the other day. Maybe I told you this already, but I don't remember. Actually, I think I totally did. About the girl who puts the grilled cheese on the outside edges of the grilled cheese.
No, what? You tell me about this.
Okay, so I was having this moment the other day. Yesterday, I think, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I was making my sardines on toast, and so I was shredding some cheese to put on top of it. And I was like shredding cheese, and I was like, I don't need that much. So I shred the amount I think I need, and I put it on top of the toasts, and I see that I'm like, oh, I had like quite a bit of cheese left over. I'm like, I guess I could put a thicker layer. Like I had put a pretty thin layer of cheese.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized that, because I kind of like a thin layer, but I realized that I had too much cheese. So I'm like, oh, I'll have to just put a little more on.
Yes.
It's fine. It wasn't like overflowing, so it wasn't a huge deal. But
Yeah.
I was thinking about this time that I was at work and we were talking about like meals we like to eat, and I was like, and someone kind of said something like, I don't know, you're kind of talking about like good, nutritious, wholesome foods, okay? Like someone was like, you know what, I really like quinoa, you know? And they'd be like, it's really easy to make and put in a lot of things. And someone would be like, yeah, I agree. I make like X, Y, and Z like this. Like, you know, like I do this and that. Or like, usually people like to, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people like to share like help. I feel like healthy food tips are like helpful food tips. Because it's like, here's a secret of how you can make like healthful food be more enjoyable.
Or like how to prepare it nicely.
Yeah, so that you can like, it's like I'm giving a tip, so someone can maybe make that healthier choice and have it easier if there's someone who like really likes junk food or something. Okay, but this girl, she chimes in and she's like, you know what you do is you like put oil in a pan and then you grate a bunch of cheese and you put it and you fry it. And then you make a grilled cheese on top of the cheese. Like you put a bread, you kind of cook the cheese onto a piece of bread, and then you make a grilled cheese. So essentially, you fry the cheese somewhat, and then you put a piece of bread on it twice, so that it kind of finishes frying and sticks and crusts the bread. And then you make a grilled cheese.
That sounds really greasy.
That sounds like that. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I'm thinking about that. I'm like, okay, this like pretty like. I thought I shredded like a reasonable amount of cheese. I didn't think I'd have as much as I did.
Yeah.
From my like brick of cheese, which is like, you can get cheese pretty easily. It's like a no-name brand brick of cheese. Like, it's a big. If you shredded all of that, you could like feed a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of cheese. So it's like the average person has this ability to do that. They could fry cheese and then fry a piece of bread in the cheese and then make a grilled cheese sandwich with
like
those fried.
You probably have ingredients for that in your house, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then it got me thinking of something I never really considered before. And that question that I got thinking about was, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Uh-huh.
And I always was like that person who was like, I like to do something just to say that I did it, or like, to say that I can, you know.
Yeah.
But then it's like, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Yes.
Anyways, it just got me thinking about a different way to look at my life.
Like overall.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What else have you noticed along those lines?
So I think that society, like today,
Yeah.
so I was watching YouTube videos while I was cooking,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd get so pissed off when the ad would pop up, and I have to like I'm cooking, I have to wash my hands and go and
Skip
dry
it.
them and to go skip it, you
Yeah.
know? And then I was like, oh my god, YouTube ads are like the commercials of of like today.
Yes. Okay.
And ads and stuff, like ads
Yeah.
before stuff. Like TV, people stream television shows now.
Yep.
People don't have commercials. Commercials don't exist in streaming services.
Well, you're paying to get rid of them, essentially.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but they still exist. Like the experience of like a commercial between stuff, that experience is turning into like decades from now. Maybe they won't have that experience of watching cable TV commercials.
Yeah.
That won't exist.
Kai and Emmett won't.
Yeah, like well, no, Emmett might remember. Emmett sees commercials all the time. He recognizes commercials. He can like hum jingles and stuff.
Oh really? Oh, I guess Sean.
Yeah, it's
Sean
not.
and
Yeah, it's
Dominique
not.
watch
They're not.
cable. Yeah.
They're not
Okay.
completely obsolete. But like in a few decades
Yeah,
from
so
now,
that'll be the case.
one day, like people will be growing up and being like, "Oh my god, you remember YouTube ads?"
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So like the experience of a like having to sit through cable television, like commercials on a regular basis.
Do you remember when shows would put in like a joke about the commercial?
Yeah.
Like they put like, we'll be right back, like in the show or something, or they make a joke about it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like those don't make sense anymore because it just will cut to the next scene now because
Yeah.
it's like on the stream. It's so funny. Or like even how shows now will be like made to be watched bingeably.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, or even like when you're watching a show and it's like they have the like to be continued and like a preview of the next episode,
Mhm.
or additionally a recap.
Like in the OC.
Yeah.
Like those aren't hit because like
Every time, because you have to remember like what
Yeah.
happened before.
well,
Like,
and also because like if you're looking through the CDs, it's nice that the recap is there, so you can be like, oh yeah, we watched this episode.
Yeah.
Like when watching the OC.
oh yeah, definitely. But it's like you don't need those nowadays.
If it was like
So it was like
on
they
Netflix.
do with seasons, like they'll do a recap with different seasons,
Mhm.
but like not to the same extent. Because it's like if you just tune in on cable television sometime, like you have to know what's going on, so they'd have something.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Society,
I
bro.
remember my siblings like recording Dominic and Lauren like recording shows like on the VCR. They like,
Mhm.
program it for a certain
You
time.
put an empty one in?
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom did that for me when I was little. For like kid stuff.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But I didn't by the time I like watched TV myself, there was like the DVR recording at that point.
Yeah.
There wasn't VCR ones. Well, I mean you still could, but like,
Yeah, that's crazy. Because we still experience that. Like, I watched DVDs and had to, like, fiddle with DVD players and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, rewinding and stuff. Oh my
It's
god.
cool how those work. Like CD
Yeah.
readers and stuff like that. All these technologies that we don't really see much, you know?
All of these technologies.
You know what my one comp sci prof was talking about?
What did he say?
He said when he was in grad school, computer like RAM was big tapes that would sit. They were magnetic. Sorry, not RAM, the hard drive.
Okay.
There was these giant magnetic tapes that you'd layer, and the memory would be a smaller version of that.
Oh my god.
So a lot of like in the lower level you go, like closer to what the actual CPU is doing, stuff will start to have names that doesn't really apply anymore. Like there's this thing called a carriage return character, which is when the literal paper the computer was spitting its output on would return. So there's like a carriage return character that's still in. I'm talking about computers now. That's how you know.
I'm like.
And if
I'm
we're
like,
still recording.